So you're thinking about moving to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and specifically Conway, South Carolina, one of the areas just off or outside of Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Well, in today's video, we're gonna take you through the Riverwalk here in Conway, South Carolina, the Marina Park on the Waccamaw River, a museum in Conway, a library, and if you stick around until the end of the video, we're gonna head you over to a hidden gem, one of the historic downtown Conway neighborhoods. So don't hop off the video, stick around until the very end, and don't miss it. We're gonna get after it right now. If this is your first time to our channel, and you want to know everything that there is to know about Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and specifically living in Conway, South Carolina, then tap the bell below for notifications and subscribe so that you can be the first to know about market changes in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. My name is Brandon, and with me today is Jason Pippin.
Hey there.
He specializes in Conway, South Carolina, one of the areas just outside of Myrtle Beach that many of you are probably going to be interested in looking at homes at or possibly living in. It's approximately about 30 to 32 minutes from Myrtle Beach, or from the beach in Myrtle Beach. But basically Conway is an excellent place to live, and Jason is experienced and knowledgeable about this market. Jason, do you want to talk to yourself just a little bit?
Sure. Yeah, I moved down here 26 years ago with a small family of 2 young daughters, which grew to a family of 4 young daughters. And it's the best decision I ever made in my life. There's no place in the world that has the sense of community and love that Conway, South Carolina has, and I'm happy to show it to you.
We get calls and emails every day, text messages, Zoom calls from people just like you looking to make their move to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and specifically Conway, South Carolina. Again, just roughly 30 minutes from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, from the beach in Myrtle Beach. I think it's about 32 minutes away. But we get people every day looking to make that move, having questions, needing answers. So, send us a text message, shoot us a call, send us an email, or hop on a live Zoom call so that we can answer your questions and help you make a smooth move to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and or specifically Conway, South Carolina. All right, guys, so as I mentioned, we're here in Conway, South Carolina, and we're going to tell a handful of stories and talk about some of the festivals in this area. Jason happens to have attended several of them.
Yes, that's right. The biggest one we have every year is a Riverfest, which is right the week before the 4th of July. And it's an amazing festival. It's big, it's huge. They got live bands all day into the night. They got a huge fireworks show. One of the best things that everybody loves more than anything is the dunk booth. I can remember bringing my young kids here, and that's all they wanted to do is mess with that dunk booth. There's a line down the street every time they have it. There's something about dunking somebody that people seem to love more than anything.
That's right.
But it's a lot of fun, and that's just one of the many festivals they have here. The city of Conway is constantly doing stuff. About a month or 2 ago, we had a group come in where the dogs that jump in the water, the contestant dogs that leap into the water, they were up the street here. That was a lot of fun. Last weekend they did a movie in the park. They showed Hocus Pocus in the park. It's all free. You can come down and enjoy it. And we had a hamburger week here a couple weeks ago, which was all the restaurants doing specialty hamburgers.
Wow.
Anywhere you went, you get these wild hamburgers that you've never seen before, and that's just a few of them. There's a lot that going on down.
So, Jason, would you say that Conway is a very tight-knit community?
I would say that, and I learned that when I moved down here. I was a 22-year-old guy. I was young. And we bought our first home here. And when you talk about tight-knit, I was amazed at the fact that the day after we moved in, all the neighbors came to my house to bring food, to say hi. And I've never experienced anything like that. But that's Conway. That's a great indicator of what Conway's like. It's a small town with a small town feel. It's basically a small southern town and a beach town rolled up into one.
So is it safe to say that Conway's a little bit like, these Hallmark movies, you know what I mean? Everyone knows everybody. Everybody's getting together. They're throwing festivals. There's obviously, a lot going on in downtown Conway. So it's got that really homey feel to it, right?
It really does. And not only, it's funny that you mentioned Hallmark movies, they've filmed Hallmark movies here. More than one. Yeah, they've filmed all kind of stuff down here. So yes, we're the perfect backdrop for stuff like that. And it really does feel that way when you're in downtown.
All right, Jason. So just a little bit more about Conway, South Carolina. Can you talk about coastal Carolina? Because I know that, coastal Carolina is really close to Conway, right?
It is in Conway. It's just a couple miles over the bridge right outside of town. And more they're trying to connect coastal with Conway. I'd said something about it being a southern beach town, but it's also a college town. And it's been really fun to watch the college grow over the last 10 to 15 years. One of the coolest things was about 5 years ago, the college baseball team, Coastal Carolina, won the World Series. They shut the whole city down. When they flew back in the night before, after they won the game, there were 2,000 people at the airport waiting for them, and they shut the whole town down to have a parade. It was one of the coolest things you'd ever witness. And it's just another example of how close and tight-knit Conway is. We're very protective of that small town feel. So when somebody does good here, everybody celebrates.
That's pretty awesome, man. Well, it sounds like just a place where I'd imagine a lot of people would like to live.
I agree. I think so. Come on down.
All right, Jason, so we just met this wonderful gentleman, and your name, sir?
Tavares.
Yep, is out here, just moved to Conway, South Carolina, just in the last 3 weeks, and he was asking Jason if Jason knew of any good places.
Yeah, I can give you a bunch of them. Of course, you're here. This is one of the best places to be. The Riverwalk's a great place to wander around. We have a museum right up the street. I don't know if you've been to the Horry County Museum yet. It's really cool. This place has a very rich history, which most people don't know about. But if you go to the museum, it's pretty cool.
Okay.
As far as places to eat, we got 1 million of them down here for this small of a town. Yeah, I mean, the Bistro's a great place. The Rivertown Bistro. There's a place called the Crooked Oak, which is amazing. Great steaks. We have pickled cucumber. That's a great breakfast lunch place. Oh my gosh, that's a meat and three place. Oh, the food is unbelievable there. Yep. Crafty Rooster's a great place to get a bite, watch a game or something like that. And we have Shanti's Pizza right down here. I mean, it's amazing how many wonderful restaurants we have in this small town.
And it's in such distance.
Yes, right. And you can walk to all of them. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. So I'm glad you're here. Welcome to town.
Thanks a lot, man. Thanks a lot. I'm glad to be here.
Right up here on the right, this little theater area they built. They just finished this a couple weeks ago, and that's where they have Movie in the Park. They're going to do a lot of other stuff there, but they showed, I think it was Hocus Pocus they showed there this weekend. It's kind of neat little place to hang. And you can see when you get into downtown all the pumpkins that are up in the trees. I don't know if you noticed that when you were coming over, but the city is so great at keeping this place decorated. At Christmas time, it looks amazing. There's lights everywhere, and it's a lot of fun to see what they do.
So this restaurant's called The Bonfire?
This is called The Bonfire. It's a taqueria, and great food in there. And when you come around here, you'll see they got outdoor riverfront seating, and of course they got outdoor here. Wonderful place. They got all kinds of different tacos there, stuff you've never heard of before, but it's really good. I like one of them. They got a hot dog taco. It's called a top dog. It's a taco with a hot dog in it.
What?
You can't beat that. Yeah, that's right. All kinds of good stuff. But yeah, it's a great place. You can see they're outside dining there, and this is the Riverwalk.
Oh, wow.
A beautiful part of the county. I think I said at some point, I think people don't think about the river here and how beautiful and accessible it is for boating, for jet skiing, for water skiing. It's a nice, calm river. And people are out on it almost all year round. Great fishing, great bass fishing out there, I've been told. Largemouth and smallmouth bass. And it's really a center point of our beautiful town.
Now, 35 years ago, when people talked about moving to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, they spoke about moving to the city of Myrtle Beach. Now, Conway, just a sleepy little southern town only 14 miles away, really seem more like 100 miles away from all the growth and activity there at the beach.
It's interesting that you bring that up, Brandon, because in the last 20 years, the state and the county and the city have added a lot of new roads to get in and out of the beach. You know, for years, the only way in and out was Highway 501, which we all know can be rather congested in the summertime. But now you have 22, 31 International Drive, so the beach is as close as ever. And what we like to say here in Conway is we're close enough, but we're far enough away. We have the beach right there, but we have a sleepy southern town right here.
So what we like about living in Conway is probably the close in proximity to the beach itself. And we're only about 15 minutes away from Surfside Beach, right down 544. It's a good family beach, and we like spending our time there with our kids.
First, let's cover the basics. Now, like Myrtle Beach and all of South Carolina, our cost of living is a 94, which means we are 6% less than all of the U.S. in our living expenses. Another fun fact is housing costs in Conway run 10 to 25% lower than a home built in the beach area. Now that's mainly due to the cost of land in Conway, South Carolina being lower. Now, I will say that that Myrtle Beach is still under the U.S. national average.
Right, and I'd add in there to that, Brandon, that, you know, our property taxes are, especially when you come from, say, the Northeast, are potentially less than a third of what people pay up there. You know, a 1,700 square foot home here may run you, it's probably going to be under $1,000 a year in property taxes, and so that's a big plus.
Transportation, food, taxes, healthcare all run lower than the national average, while utilities are just slightly higher.
And talking about utilities, my house is about 3,000 square feet. Our electric bill runs about $200, $250 a month. Our water bill anywhere from $80 to $100 a month. And remember, I live with 5 women. So that's pretty good. And our, you know, one of the things I love to talk about, it's important, like our solid waste division here is amazing. They will pick up just about anything from your house that you need them to if you put it out to the curb. I've seen them make special trash runs for people that needed it. It's just, they're very, along with all the other utility companies, they're very helpful and easy to work with.
Well, that sounds cool, Jason. So cost of living's not anything crazy for you. It's very, very affordable.
Very affordable.
Your family can afford to go grocery shopping and keep the fridge full.
Absolutely.
You know, utility bills aren't crazy. Even though it's slightly a little bit higher, it's still nothing crazy. Right. Now, can you talk a little bit about allergies out here in Conway? You know, because Conway it's a rural area, it's more rural than Myrtle Beach, you'd say.
In moving here, I had more issues. I never had issues with allergies, and to say I have issues is very minor. But in the spring and the fall, we get a lot of pollen here in the spring. It's pretty insane the way the pollen looks, but it only lasts for about 10 days and then it's gone. You know, it's certainly nothing unmanageable. And in the fall, you go through a week or two, you see a lot of people with a stuffy nose, just when some of the fall stuff comes off the trees. And again, you're only talking about a week or two where that happens.
Yeah, cool. So now people probably have questions about hurricanes and storms, being as close to the beach as we are. Do you feel like Conway is a safe distance away from the ocean? Have you had any issues personally with storms?
Well, Conway is. You know, to be completely honest, the issue we've had here with storms is flooding, and we have had that happen over the last 10 to 15 years a couple times. But we had historic storms that in 2018, Hurricane Florence dropped more water than any other storm that we've ever had.
Is that the 1,000-year rain?
Yes.
Yeah.
And so we did have some issues with flooding there. Of course, all resolved, and I know the city has taken steps through new building and stuff like that to address future issues with flooding. They're on top of it.
Super cool. All right, wonderful. So storms, even though there was a little bit of flooding here, nothing major that destroyed your home or anything like that?
No, nothing like that. Nothing like that. And for the most part, everybody here was okay. You know, we just had a hurricane recently, and Conway made it through very well.
Wonderful.
No problems at all.
Great to hear. All right, Jason, so what were some of the steps that you took to prepare for the most recent hurricane here in Conway, South Carolina?
All right, yeah, hurricane prep is pretty standard. You go, you get some food, you make sure your flashlights are charged. If you have a generator, you make sure it's working okay in the event that we lose power. You pay attention to the news. Of course, the news becomes the top order of the business because the weather is reported constantly to let us know what's going on. And then you hunker down and wait. A lot of people have hurricane parties. I mean, why not? It's a hurricane. You might as well enjoy it. And in this last storm, we didn't even lose power here in Conway, so that was great.
Speaking of that, we didn't lose power at my home either. Now, I live in Myrtle Beach, a little bit closer to the Lahowtee area, and we're probably a good half hour, 35 minutes away from Conway. We didn't lose power either. Same kind of thing. We went and bought extra food, did all the typical stuff, and kind of used the time to spend with family.
Yeah, and I want to point out, I think people from other areas think that we're constantly inundated with hurricanes. Anytime I talk to somebody about living down here, like, oh, the hurricanes. It's not very common. If we get one a year, and we hadn't had one in the last 3 or 4 years. So usually they're small. If they do come like this last one, not too big of a deal. But we don't get them all the time. And you only have to worry about it between, I think it's like July and November. That's hurricane season. So it's a very small fraction of time.
Speaking of the weather, kind of fill us in about the differences between Myrtle Beach and Conway as far as weather goes.
Now we're getting into the nitty gritty. The reason that we live here is the weather. It's not much different than Myrtle Beach, but let me tell you how that weather is. Hot in the summer. Not as hot as you think. July and August are our hottest month. Mid-90s, you may see a day in the 100-degree area, but we have so much water around us here in Conway. There's constant breezes, same as the beach. It's different than being way inland where it's just stifling hot. We don't have that. And of course, in the spring and the fall, I would put our weather up against any weather in the world. It's absolutely perfect. Brandon and I out here today, it's 70 degrees, there's no humidity, and that's the weather we have most of the time. In the wintertime, we may get a few weeks late in February where we have some 30-degree days, but in between those 30-degree days, we may have 60-degree days. Many years that I've worn shorts on Christmas Day because it's been 75 degrees.
Come on.
Our weather is really amazing. I can't say enough great stuff about it.
So any major differences, like, if it's 70 degrees in Conway, what do you think it is in Myrtle Beach?
A lot of times it's maybe a couple degrees cooler out there, because of the ocean, I think. But it's not too bad. You can tell, like when we go to the beach from Conway and it's 80, you can tell it's a little bit cooler out there. It just feels nicer, It's just because we got more breezes out there.
Super cool.
This is Shanti's, one of our locally owned restaurants here. And Shanti's is really cool. They do personal pizzas. I mean, they have other stuff on the menu, but their pizzas are fantastic. You can get all different kinds of stuff on them. You can get buffalo chicken pizza. You can get a regular cheese pizza. And one of the great things about Shanti's is it's very affordable. You could come in here, get a pizza and a drink for about $11 if you wanted to. Okay, so this is something new that the city just built, and it's a little mini amphitheater, and they got a lot of plans for this. What they did most recently when they opened it is they had movie in the park nights. It was a free movie. You come down, bring your chairs, bring something to eat, and sit and watch a movie for free with your kids. It was packed. There was tons of people. It was a beautiful night. It was something different and new, and it was very successful, and they plan to do a lot of stuff here. We're going to go over to one of our 2 historic courthouses, the county courthouse. The county courthouse, if I'm not mistaken, was built in about 1917. It goes along with our City of Conway courthouse, which is around the corner, which was built in the late 1800s and still standing there today.
All right, guys, so we're here outside of the downtown Conway courthouse, and just want to catch you up to speed on Conway's growth. Now, Conway's growth is mainly fueled by the growth of many new home communities around Conway in all directions, but outside of the city limits. New and fairly new communities of different home sizes and price ranges are available from the low 200s to the high 500s. All right, so speaking of downtown Conway, that's definitely one of the pros of living in Conway. Many of the older storefronts have been renovated and turned into trendy restaurants such as that Rivertown Bistro that we just drove past and Jason talked about. That was established in the 1980s. All right, guys, here we are. We're in the vehicle with Jason Pippin, heading on over to just a couple blocks north from downtown shops are 2 other big pluses for Conway. So basically, there is a totally new town library and an Horry County Museum, which is located inside a renovated school building. Pretty cool. Hoppin' Witch.
We're real excited for that. There's a local Coastal Carolina graduate who opened the Crafty Rooster, Chanti's, which we talked about earlier, and he's opened that restaurant here. So we're pretty proud of him.
Sounds like a rising entrepreneur.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's
right.
cool.
He's doing well. Right over here, we have a Caribbean jerk place. It's fantastic.
Where's that at?
It's right here, the Caribbean jerk.
Oh, I see it. Yeah.
It is. It's really good. If you've never had anything like that, I highly recommended it. I tried it this year and had never had. I said I don't want to eat something like that, but I ended up going there. I've been back there 5 or 6 times since. It's really good.
Well, just a couple of blocks north from the downtown shops are 2 other big pluses for Conway: a totally new town library and the Horry County Museum, which is it's actually located. The Horry County Museum is located in a renovated school building. Now, the library has a modern look and feel, which enjoys many visitors daily. It's also host to many a local meeting and event in their meeting areas. All right, so let's check out some of those houses that we were talking about. That hidden gem. You know, these are some of the historic and classic homes here in Conway, South Carolina.
You know, and these, to get your bearings here, these are all in walking distance to downtown. They're maybe 2 blocks from the center of downtown Conway.
Wow, look at that. That's a nice home. Look at these homes, man. Oh, wow. Look at that. Stunning.
Here, Brandon, as we were talking about oak trees earlier, here's an example of the city building around an oak tree. You can
Wow.
see the road is split right down the middle
Yes.
to protect it.
That's super cool.
And we have a few of those around here. It's really neat.
So again, guys, these are the historic homes that we were talking about. Absolutely stunning homes, as you can see. Classic style. Look like they've been well preserved. Okay, so Jason, kind of walk us through this little bridge. Isn't this one of the entrances and exits for the city?
It is, that's right. And earlier in the video, we were underneath this bridge when we were walking and filming underneath of it. Now we're on top of it. This is the main entranceway into Conway. And the bridge lights up at night. Again, over the holidays, especially Christmas, it's beautiful. They do something with all the street lights to give it a nice holiday feel. This is how you get in and out of Conway.
Another pro to Conway is having the booming Coastal Carolina University inside the city limits on the east side of Conway toward Myrtle Beach. CCU is growing in size, physical plant, numbers, and certainly in its athletics and cultural contributions to the area. Just behind us here is Brooks Stadium. This is the football stadium. Now, the basketball, the baseball, and the soccer teams regularly host big-time games with opponents from the ACC and other Big 5 conferences. All right, so we're back. We're driving you. All this is campus all along our left over here. Jason here.
Hello.
Hey, let me just do a little bit of adjustment. Okay, there we go. So, yeah, so basically all along our left, ever since we left Brooks Stadium, we've been driving through campus basically, and we're going to drive over to Horry Georgetown Tech. Now, again, you know, probably a great cost savings if you're looking at sending your, oh, look at that, Coastal Carolina University. So that's a bus. I guess.
Yeah, that's a free transportation for students. And it'll take you around campus. It'll also take you to the grocery store and local places around here. So.
Super cool. So great service for students. All right, so lots to do as far as education here. You know, we've been driving through Horry Georgetown Technical College and CCU campus, just showing you a little bit of the campus life over in the Conway, South Carolina area. Again, if your child is considering going to school here, and if you'd like for them to start at a cheaper alternative, Horry Georgetown Technical is great. If you're looking to move here, then you can definitely take advantage of the classes at Horry Georgetown Tech. And of course, CCU has many cultural programs and tons of events for you to get involved in as well. Both of these schools, basically they're neighboring schools. They butt up right against each other, basically. So I'd imagine if you're looking for your child to get started at Horry Georgetown Tech, and then eventually transition over into CCU. Probably a very smooth and easy transition. All right, so you might think that because Conway is away from the tourist area and beaches, that there are no traffic issues. Well, however, that's actually the only negative that I can think of about Conway. I think Jason came up with 2. Is that right?
Well, there's 2. There's the traffic, which is the biggest negative. The second one is a very small negative. But in the city of Conway on Sundays, most things are closed. So as far as downtown goes, there's a restaurant or 2 that are open, but for the most part, they roll the sidewalks up Saturday night and everybody takes off on Sunday.
All right, so really quick here, we're going to be driving into Conway, South Carolina. So this is one of the main entrances into Conway, Jason, right?
It is. You have 2 ways to get in. You have 501 business, which is what we're on, and you have 501 bypass, which is kind of parallel almost to this.
If you're interested in staying up to date on the latest trends going on in our market, on the latest real estate news in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, about living in Myrtle Beach or living in Conway, South Carolina, please tap the bell for notifications below, subscribe, so that you can be the first to learn about market changes. Also, feel free to give us a call, send us a text message, shoot us an email, or schedule a live Zoom call so that we can answer any questions you have about living in Myrtle Beach, about living in Conway, South Carolina, or about making that move, because we help people just like you every day, make that move to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and to Conway, South Carolina. We help plenty of clients. We specialize in helping clients relocate to the Myrtle Beach area, specifically Conway, South Carolina, and all of the Myrtle Beach area each and every day. So feel free to reach out to us. Don't be a stranger. We'd be more than happy to help you and your family make a move, answer any questions you have so that your move and your transition is smooth. So whether you're 1 month or 3 years out, give us a call, send us a text message, shoot us an email, and let us help your transition be a smooth move here to Conway, South Carolina.